Well, I think I've got something really exciting today if I can make this work. I know it's going to be exciting for me to do. These are going to be cut into segments. They're not your normal segments, and you'll see that shortly. I'm using 4 types of wood: Purple Heart, Maple, Cherry, and I believe this is Teak. I've had this board for ages. I'm using these 4 different woods for a reason. These first 3 here, they're not a drastic difference in shades of colors, and that's what I need to make the look. This, on the other hand, needs to be much darker than everything else. So if I would have had Wingay, maybe I would have used it, but I've got a lot of Purple Heart, so that's why I'm using that. So what I need to do, I have to start with the Purple Heart. I've got to make parallelograms out of them, and I'll show you how I'm doing that shortly. And I always like to take my segments and get a mark up here. And usually I'll put one on this side to be against the fence, but this time it'll pretty much only go this way against the fence. All the angles will be at 30 degrees, at least I'm pretty sure, and I'll find out more after I get this cut. So I'm going to cut some of these, show you how I do it, and then I'll assemble one of the sections, and I'll have to make 5 more sections. So I need 36 pieces, and you'll see that shortly. But let me cut these. I'll show you how I glue that together. Then I'll glue the rest of them up, and then we'll actually start building something. Alright, I'll show you how I glue these together. And I've just got a piece of melamine. I put a little wax on there. Try to keep these pieces from getting stuck down. I do them in halves because it's really hard to hold these in a star shape. I could probably make a special gluing fixture for doing it, but this is worked pretty well for me. So we have that, and if I'm careful I can get the other one up there as well. I let these sit for about half an hour, and just to make sure I don't have any glue or anything on the bottom, I'll just run them across some 120 grit. Like that. And that looks pretty good, so we'll go ahead and glue it together. That's it right there. I went ahead and glued up 7 of these. It only takes 6, but it's always a good idea to have an extra one because there's a lot of setup to get to this point. I know that it's going to be hard to hold these pieces and then glue the individual pieces in there. So I decided to go ahead and make a little holding jig for them. Now I knew that in making this piece here, I could measure it, and if I was off 20 thousandths on the cuts, I could make this fit, but it may not fit a fixture that I machined with the idea of this being a particular size. So I made this oversized and then cut shims after I had these. So I'll show you what we got. This is one of the first pieces that go in. I went ahead and cut that. Then we get this piece, and then we get this one. Okay, let me go over and get the camera set up on the table saw, and I'll show you what we're doing. As I was saying in the beginning, I'm pretty sure that the angles on all of these joints will be the same. I have the rail set up at 30 degrees off of the blade. I'll be making another parallelogram. That's what this is, but this one's longer. And I suspected that all of these pieces could be flipped around and create this shape. Well, this is a regular segment looking piece with that cut on this side and that side. What happens here is I've adjusted this stop here to make the longer parallelogram. What is really cool, and it's not too surprising based on the geometry of how this is put together, that if I cut this, it's going to be a parallelogram. If I turn it this way, it's going to make that wedge. And you know what? That same setup does both. So let me show you that. I'm going to set these aside. Okay, I'm going to mark an X on that piece just to show you. These are the ones I'm taking over there. I'm pretty certain that they're going to fit. And these two already have a home. I'll set the camera up and I'll show you what's going on. It's pretty exciting. Here's two pieces of cherry that I just cut and marked the X on. After cutting those, I pretty much decided that these pieces all have to be identical. So I cut everything that goes in here. These pieces here I started with, and I just started by measuring and cutting, and I thought that's going to be a long process, but then I figured out they have to be the same, so I went ahead and took a chance. Let's go ahead and put all these pieces in here and see if it works. So here is the cherry piece, which lines up there. That's the teak, which lines up here. That's the cherry that looks like the cap of that board. And got to turn the X upside down on that one. That goes there. And one more piece of maple. There we go. Let me put this star in there and you can have a look at this. So you look at that, and in that viewfinder this looks exactly like I was hoping it would. So far so good. I'm not gluing anything up today, it's getting late, but I'm looking forward to doing some more on it tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Alright, I've had a couple dry fits on this and tested it. I think it's time to glue it together. But once you get glue in there, things can change real fast. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Trying to keep the pieces in order. I'm going to get these clamps back on here like that and maybe put some across here, and I'll let this sit all night. The glue up on these outside sections are identical to what I did on that inside section, and it took a long time, so I'm not going to make you watch all of that, and it really did take a long time. I'm showing work in progress here for two more sections. Okay, I just got this section in here. I've only got one more to go. And I'll tell you what, I think I am done for the day. It's 98 degrees, so I will get back on this when it cools down. Well, I finally reached the last piece to be glued in place, and looking forward to that because it's getting hot again. So, as I was talking about these angles earlier, I find it very interesting because the math in that cut, it's a 60-degree angle to make a complete circle. That same cut is used on every piece that I cut here. Every one of them had that angle. So it just shows you the different shapes you can make using that cut. And I never changed the wedgie sled at all, and it works. And once you kind of understand how it works, it'll all make sense. Like I say, I talked about that earlier. If you missed it, go back and look at it, because while I was gluing it up, I decided I could explain some of that. There we go. We got glue oozing out. Okay, that's it. So we'll get that cleaned up and get it mounted in the lathe, and we'll make something out of it. Okay, it's fairly cool this morning, but I've been gone for a couple days, so I haven't worked on this for a while. I sawed this round, and I cleaned this area up here to prepare it for a tenon that I want to hot glue on it. But right now, I'll go ahead and put a shape here. It's not going to be a lot of shape because this is really about what that glue up looks like. So let me just move the tool rest up a little closer, and we'll clean this up. About 800 RPM. And I do have one of these tenons hot glued on the other side. I've got it fairly close. I can still feel ridges in there, but the Purple Heart is a lot harder than everything else, and all these pieces are going different directions. And it's not bad. I don't have all that much tear out because of that. And I've got a shape on here I'm happy with. I'm going to stop here on the bottom. I'm going to try my negative rake scraper and see if I can just kind of blend that in and get a little better finish. And still doing about 825 RPM. Alright, here's the plan. I've got my finish sander here that takes quarter sheets of sandpaper. I could just sand it like this. That works pretty good, but I want to try it with it turning. And I'm going to get a mask on. I've got my overhead air filter going, and I've got the fan blowing towards me, so that should keep the dust away from me. Doing about 450 RPM. That might be too fast. I'll make some adjustments if I need to. I slowed it down about 350. That seemed to be a little easier to control, and that has done a nice job. So I'll see you shortly, and we'll get one of those tenons hot glued on here and get it flipped around. I don't plan on taking a lot off of this side because, well, just because of how it's constructed mostly. And it's not really going to be a functional piece that I can think of, so it's more of an art piece. I do have to flatten it, and as soon as I get it flattened here, I'll start dishing it out. I've just resharpened my 1/2-inch bowl gouge, and let's see if we can do this. 825 RPM. I just want to test how flat it feels. I don't have it yet. Gotta get that right there. You know what? I think it's time to bring out the negative rake scraper. Okay, that feels really good. It is time to sand. And I showed you the sanding on the other side, so I don't think I'll show it here, but I'll show you how I get the finish on it. So like I always say, I'll be right back. I've got it all sanded up to 400, and I'm going to spray some Deft lacquer on it. I've got it spinning like this so you can watch the different looks it has. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, let's go ahead and spray some lacquer on there. Okay, I'm going to do this 5 or 6 times. And I'll do the back side off camera, and then you can see it all when we're through. Okay, it's all done. And I know when I show you this, I'm going to get some reflections. So make sure you stick around to the end and see the photos, because they won't have it. But here it is. That's the reflections. If I hold it just right, it's not bad. Pretty cool, huh? Here's the back side. I really like the back side a lot. I think it's because it's got a convex shape. It just reacts to the light better. It finished 12 3/4 inch diameter. The rim is 3/8 inch, and it's 13/16 inch tall. It's made from purple heart, teak, maple, and cherry, and that's what gives it the illusion. It's the different shades of wood. Kind of fool your eyes. It kind of fools me. I made this, and I'm still amazed at the look that it has. Pretty cool. If this gets enough interest, I have an idea on making one that anyone that does segments will be able to get an illusion similar to this. Not exact, but similar. And I think that'd be a lot of fun. But I would really like to see this one get lots and lots of views, and you can help me out with that. If you could share this on all of your social media, that would be terrific. I would appreciate that. So let me know if you like this as much as I obviously like it. and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked the video, you can let me know by hitting that like button. Also, leave a comment and tell me what you think. I love reading them all, and I do my best to answer them all. If you're currently not subscribed, please consider doing so. If you are subscribed, thank you very much. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. I do all types of turnings, and I love doing them all. Let me know your favorites. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.